Hello, Internet. So yeah, TKKNMSTR here with
Trioptical.
and Gamescom 2014 Xbox conference just happened. I watched the whole thing. Trioptical watched most of it, and yeah, we're gonna go over it. So first up we have in my notes. Well, I guess before we continue, also background notes on Trioptical side, but whatever. It's in the morning. Whatever.
Yeah. Good morning, by the way.
So, they start off with FIFA Ultimate Team Edition, exclusive to Xbox One, and my notes are just basically, blah, 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 FIFA, blah, 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 it's a sports game, I don't really care, yeah. And then, it's weird, they showed a lot of indie games, the idea Xbox games, and, the wording that they used was, first to console on Xbox One, so I don't even know which one of these are exclusive and which ones aren't. So.
I think it's the same thing that PlayStation is doing. Basically, indies can't really say, we're not going to release a Steam version, because that's sort of crazy. And so, but console versions, that takes time. So everyone has a PC version, because that's what they're making. And then the second version is, whichever deal they're getting a good deal at. And so I think those would probably be first on Xbox One console, then maybe on PC, or maybe PC first, and then whatever else is out there that they care to do.
And it was weird though, because later on they showed Ori and the Blind Forest, and it said only on Xbox and PC. So that then it's only on Xbox platform and PC.
Yeah.
But then I was happy because it's on PC. It's yeah, I can get it. But then now I'm wondering what that would apply to on the list of the stuff that they showed. But I have no idea since it was just a really quick montage. I was able to type out everything, but I haven't. So I haven't been able to go over this and edit it because I was typing it in real time. And I was typing really fast, and they were going by really fast. And I might have some typos in here when I go over all the names. So just put that out there. So we got Blues and Bullets, Cuphead, Dungeon of the Endless, Fruit Ninja Connect 2. Funk of Titans, Ghost of a Tell, Goat Simulator, Gunscape, Massive Chalice, Inside, Night Squad, Lovers in a Dangerous Something. I didn't get the whole thing down because it cut to the next game too fast.
What's that Twisted Planet looking one?
I don't remember Tropical.
You're just looking at titles.
I can't match the names of the game because it went by so fast. Hashtag iDarbin. I think that one was actually something else too. I think I spelled the Darb after the Dar. I dare maybe. I don't know. Something. Hashtag I something Dar something.
Something a real word.
Yeah. It's DARB and I'm that's probably not the right name. No Time to Explain. Plague Inc. Evolved. Rivals of Aether. Smite. Slash Dash. Space Engineers. Spectra. Pneuma, Breath of Live. That might be another one that's wrong. I don't
Probably
think Breath
life.
of Live.
Probably life.
yeah, probably. Threes, exclamation mark. The Escapists. I spelled that wrong, but I'm not gonna say what I spelled. Vagar the Viking with the B where the V should be. Whatever. Speedrunners and Super Hot, which looks pretty cool.
So yeah, a bunch of those titles are already on PC. So they're not, Xbox exclusive.
Okay, that makes sense.
So,
but then, when they do come to console, it's first on Xbox. So
right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and it makes sense, too, because of Microsoft's policy. I mean, it does work in their favor. It's if you want to release on Xbox One through ID on Xbox, or at Xbox, then you have to release the Xbox version first. And, indies are complaining about that, but an easy way to get around it is just make the Xbox One first, and then make all the other ones.
And then I just think it's cool that, now we're in a place where, indies... I mean, even if it's just, a quick, game after game after game montage, that, they're actually being, featured and, prominently displayed on... Or, during conferences like this, every time there's a show like this. That's pretty cool. And then we got a quick gameplay look at Space Engineers. It was just, floating around with a jetpack, blowing stuff up. And Super Hot, it was a trailer, so not too much. Yeah, there's gameplay shown, but it's out of context. It's kind of kind of hard to see, like, get the concept of the game. Besides, you're moving and there's bullets, but you can go really or the slow down motion or slow motion thing.
And this was after the indie montage? Or...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was after. They're like, okay, now we're going to have a nice quick look at some of these indies that we just showed, and they, just like a quick demo of like Space Engineers and then Super Hot trailer thingy. And then it was weird before they showed the next game because they said Team 17 will bring their entire portfolio to Xbox One, so I'm not sure if they're going to bring like all their Worms games or what's up with that because they're the developers of Worms. But then they showed The Escapists, and it was basically a gameplay trailer, so just like Super Hot. So yeah, just, quick flashes of gameplay and what's going on, and you're trying to escape a prison, which is weird, but the graphics are all very spritey, so yeah.
Like Hotline Miami, or what are we talking about?
It's not the same style of Hotline Miami, but it does look similar to essentially, I would say like that with Don't Starve, because you have like a crafting system it showed in the trailer where you have like items that you can combine to make tools, and then you use those to like do stuff, but then when you're interacting with everything, it's very minimalist and like super like, you have characters saying stuff, but it's like short word snips, and then like you have damage indicators of like minus whatever HP or whatever as like you fight other NPCs, so that was interesting. There's different locations in the map, but it's all like overhead, like just like Hotline Miami, but it's just a different graphical style, but it's similar to like the viewpoint.
Okay.
Then they showed Smite, which is a PvP, or not PvP, but MOBA, but in third person. So that looked interesting. It seems like there's like a bit more going on to it than the typical MOBA. I'm still whatever. I'm not going to talk about my own personal relationship with MOBAs. It's weird, but yeah.
It's supposed to be more action based.
It did look more action based. There's like because like usually in like the League of Legends and Dota, there's like the two bases or whatever. But in Smite, it looked like there was like boss encounters or something that flashed on the screen during the trailer, and I was like, what's this about? So maybe you have to like take down a boss, and it's not as easy as like just go into a tower and be like, let's just destroy it. Oh. Then they showed Below, which is coming in 2015, and then man, it's like they showed Call of Duty, and they showed it was just like, man, did we really need to see Call of Duty Advanced Warfare again? And it was so weird because they had like this really long gameplay section followed by this not just as lengthy, but lengthy cutscene that was like in game and like non-interactive. I was like, why are they even?
Wow.
This was like, it felt like it dragged on when they showed that part because like the Golden Gate Bridge is blowing up. It's like, why would you even put that in the game, like in there? To like, spoiler. I mean, come on, that would be a cool part to have in the game if you didn't know it was going to be in there, and they completely just like ruined it for, well, maybe not ruined it, but I only play the multiplayer, so but I thought that was weird.
Yeah, it was so I think it was yesterday, right? There was the Advanced Warfare multiplayer reveal.
Yeah.
I guess I'm kind of excited, but I don't know how it looks to sort of the casual fans, because it's becoming very different than it was. Like Modern Warfare 1 was a certain way, and I think it appealed to people like, this is sort of realistic, and it has that Call of Duty feel that everyone knows now. But with Advanced Warfare, people are like, it's like they have jetpacks and then like jumping around and they're doing like a loop-de-loop in the air.
I think that will be Advanced Warfare's problem, is that whole jetpack mechanic is just too much like whatchamacallit, Titanfall. So it's like, even though it's like, they're working on the game like years and years before or whatever, sure. It's like, sure you didn't rip off the jetpacks. I totally believe you. Sledgehammer, whatever you say.
Well, it's not even the rip-off part. It's just that it becomes such a different type of game. Before, all you really had to do...
the whole Pick 13, like, so many combinations. I thought that was kind of cool. That kind of almost, like, made me, like, my ears perk up and get interested in it. I was like, no, I'm not going back. No, must resist.
On that note, the naming is just like... inspired by Pick 10, we made Pick 13. That just sounds like, so basically you have no brains. And then the other thing was like, so we want you to be able to show off your stuff in virtual lobbies in something we call virtual lobbies. And it's like, everyone calls them virtual lobbies. That's what they are.
See, it's funny for me, Tropical, because I haven't played Ghost, and then I was watching someone do a video on, like, what is different in this one versus Ghost, and they were talking about that part of, like, you had all these customizable parts for your character in Ghost, but you're always in first person, so you can it's like, clearly they didn't think that part through. I thought that was hilarious. I heard that, and I was just like, wow. I was laughing so hard.
That's really funny. Yeah, like I feel like it's adding something. It's sort of like the fighting game evolution. In the beginning, fighting games sort of everyone played them because they looked cool, and you could sort of maybe hold your own. But then over time, it just became only the hardcore players. In Call of Duty, it feels like it's becoming like that. Modern Warfare, all you had to be able to do was point and shoot, and the point was heavily automated, and so you're just walking around, pushing the aim trigger and then pushing the fire trigger, and it's like, hey, I'm having fun, I killed that guy. But now, with Advanced Warfare, you also have, you're adding all the movement stuff on top of that, so there's, like, the jetpack thing is just sort of crazy, and people are just flying around everywhere, so now you can't really even, like, the area that you have to look in is so much bigger. You have to look up. People will be above you, and they'll be shooting down at you. And yeah, it seems like it's becoming more and more hardcore, even though the audience is, I think, largely a casual audience.
That's a good analogy. I agree.
All right.
And then,
yeah.
But yeah, they said add-on content first on Xbox. So any DLC, we already know about the agreement they have.
Once again.
And then they showed Evolve, and they were talking about, well, they didn't really talk about the new release date, but they're like, yeah, it's coming out 2015, and then February 10th in Europe. It's weird, because, like, they said February 10th, or they said, like, a date that's, like, different there than it is here, or something, I think. And I was like, But I might have to look at that one. Or there's some other game on here that's, like, different in Europe than here, because it's Gamescom, so I was like, that's whatever. But, yeah, they showed Evolve with the tentacle monster. I forgot what it's called. Was it Cthulhu?
Cthulhu. Well, they call it the
Kraken.
Yeah, the Kraken. But
okay, yeah. But that was interesting. So there's different monsters, which I guess give different variety when you're trying to kill it.
So one of the themes of the press conference, I think.
Esports.
Yeah, they're trying to go esports.
That was the part. I didn't type that in here, but I tweeted about it. But, like, yeah, they not only did they show the game, but they made a point to be like, here's an announcer, or two announcers, giving commentary to a live match. And I was just like, oh, esports. Oh, I mean, I don't dislike esports. It's just like they're pushing it so hard. I was just like, come on, dude. Like, it's early, and I'm just like, dude, come on. I just like, oh, man.
Well, the thing is, like, it feels like, it was weird. Like, it's okay when it's sort of a real match and stuff, but then when you're on stage and it's sort of a staged thing, it's sort of the next level of fake gameplay on stage. Like, oh yeah, just let it happen. Just let it happen. And now it's just like professionals, but also doing the show. And well, yeah, it feels weird live on stage like that when it's meant to be a demonstration.
And then the open beta for Xbox One is coming in January for that game, which is a month before the game comes out. So yeah, why not just have it when the game's coming out? Whatever. And then the Megaton or mini Megaton of the day, as judge as you will, Rise of the Tomb Raider. And then I like that they called it survival action, because like, yeah, that I felt very traumatized in the 2013 edition, and I felt like I was surviving. So yeah, and it wasn't scary enough to call it survival horror. So I was like, yeah, survival action totally fits. And they're like, holiday 2015, exclusively on Xbox. So I'm guessing Xbox One and Xbox 360 maybe, but not on. Well, I'm guessing it'll also be time exclusive because they already put up a Tumblr, some other blog service post about it, like, oh, well, we're making this decision because blah, blah, blah. Microsoft supports this blah, blah, blah. Yeah, PRBS, like, deeds. Money out.
It's weird. Like, so Polygon has that story, and I think it's on Gamma Sutra also has the quote, but basically they said, oh, we know there's a lot of people who only play PC and PS4, but we think that Microsoft, we know that we will receive more support from Microsoft than anyone else. And You know, at first glance, that's sort of like a non-explanation. Like, so wait, why is it exclusive? But
Talking about money.
not necessarily. Like, it makes a lot of sense. One, I think, especially this early on, exclusives get more coverage than everything else. I mean, if you think of a major multi-platform title, Assassin's Creed is not really getting as much coverage, I don't think, as something like Bloodborne, which we know nothing about, or exclusive or Sunset Overdrive, which we know lots about. And so I think this early in the game, it does make sense to go exclusive because it gives you a lot more coverage, and the point is really to stand out or get noticed is the primary thing. And the comment on Microsoft, like, they are the most desperate right now. So I think, yeah, they would support any exclusive they can get more than any other company would right now. A lot of commenters are saying, oh, it's because Uncharted 4 is coming out next holiday. And we all know sort of Uncharted has sort of beat Tomb Raider at its own game. And so maybe it makes sense for them to launch Tomb Raider only on Xbox in the next holiday season, 2015. They can, avoid Uncharted 4 there, and then later on launch it on PS4.
And it's interesting to look at all the comments about, Square Enix said all the stuff about Tomb Raider underperforms, blah, 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 blah. Then the next version comes out and it's exclusive to one platform out of 5. No PS3, no PS4, no PC. Blah.
Just sort of crazy, but yeah, I think it does make sense. And just, not having to spend the marketing money and having Microsoft do that for you, like, yeah, that's really good. It's not like there are no Xbox Ones out there. There's actually quite a few of them. Eventually, we will want to be on the larger platform base, but for the beginning, let's not get greedy all right away.
Oh, man. Yeah. It's funny because, like, we talked about this during the E3 or post-E3 or whatever, like, what can Microsoft do? And it's like, just buy exclusivity. And then they do it, and we're like, Microsoft, turn money around.
Well, so that is one of the things that, or I guess we'll do it in the wrap-up, but this feels like, remember this move, and we'll talk about it at the end. Moving on.
Alright, so we had Quantum Break World Premiere gameplay, and I gotta say, I was not blown away after all the hypes. It's just, to me, it's like the third-person shooter part just like too third-person shootery, if that makes any sense. It just looks very generic as far as like compared to everything else. It's like, oh, you go into cover, you shoot dudes, and then it's got a bit of time shift in it of, oh, you can control time. So, third-person shooter with time powers that control time.
The invincible dash move. You just run, and then they're like, oh, he's gone!
See, I thought that was weird, Tropical, because I was thinking, I was going to tweet this, but I didn't. I was like, if I had those powers, I would just run past all the bad guys, and, like, I wouldn't even bother fighting them, unless you can't do that.
That's true. Like, why would you kill all of them if you could stop time?
Just like Dishonored.
Oh. They did show, other enemies who can...
Oh, yeah, that was pretty cool.
Frozen time.
I thought it was interesting in those environments how basically you just have like a static frozen in time environment with like people around to like go and be like, oh, I need a gun, let me grab this cop's gun. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like while the environment can also be like manipulated and just like cars being thrown and crazy explosions and stuff. That's pretty cool.
So what do you think the draw of this one is going to be? I
don't know.
It might be the sort of stop time special effects, sort of visually, I think is one of the draws. Yeah, the combat seems pretty standard at the moment. I mean, they showed the thing where you could do like a time bubble around an enemy and then like shoot a bunch of bullets at them, and like the bullets would all stop and then have greater impact for some reason. Even that seems kind of standard, but I think the visual effects, they do look really cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of slow panning of the environment.
Yeah.
In that it's like, oh, look at these explosions while they're happening, but they're frozen in time, and there's all this collapsing and expanding of time because the time is so unstable.
It's next gen. Of course, there are sparks sort of frozen in the air because it looks cool. Particles. Raining. It should have been raining.
Trioptical. That would have made it.
Oh!
When the game came out, there's no raid. That was a bait and switch demo. What? Remedy. So yeah, and then they showed Fabled Legends. Just a short gameplay trailer, and then they're like, "Oh, multiplayer beta sign up starts October 16th." So, But then after, like, when they were showing that, it kind of made me think, like, maybe in the future this will probably what like might happen to like other properties that are like Fable, or just not like or other franchises. Just like, as they like decline in popularity, they just get they get shrunken down, or not shrunken down, but like there's like a universe there, and it just gets like stuff comes out of it of like here's an adventure or here's an experience from this universe, like that Tomb Raider Guardians of Light game. It's like it's like Tomb Raider's a franchise, but it's not a AAA adventure that you want, so we're just gonna have Lara Croft in some adventure in that universe. So maybe later on down the lines, when nobody cares about Assassin's Creed anymore, we can have all these weird Assassin Templari adventures in Abstergo universe world or something. And oh man, the next game was like the most I just saw it and I was like, thought bubble question mark. I was like, huh? Was a Scream Ride. Because at first I thought it was like some sort of, what's that word? Roller Coaster Tycoon thing.
Yeah.
I was like, the whole time I was expecting like a Roller Coaster Tycoon announcement, and I was like, oh, it's. But then I saw the title, and I was like, huh. Because then in the trailer, it's like your progress or rewards is measured by screams. I was like, that's kind of dark at the same time that it's trying to be happy and playful. Because you have like explosions and derailing whatchamacallits roller coasters in the trailer. So I was like, yeah, what?
The trailer was really weird. Like, I think they were trying to do sort of it's this dark future in a world, and they had that, but then it became, maybe this is Roller Coaster Tycoon, and then they show a scene and it's really quick, like, the roller coaster cart has 4 people on it, and suddenly, like, one of them flies out. It's just like, what is happening? And then the the cart flies off the track and knocks down a building, and it was like, okay.
And there was a lot of explosions, but then it kind of seemed like it was okay because everybody had like unprotective equipment. So I was like, well, they have on helmets and explosions.
That is totally gonna protect me from an explosion. I have a helmet.
Yeah, it's like that's not how that works to save you from that. And that situation, ... And that is coming spring 2015.
Okay, remember this game too. For the wrap up, move it on.
Okay, Forza 5. So there's some more. I think it was new DLC, or not new, but new and free DLC. I think Renault Spark, a Formula car that's electric, and the Rolls-Royce Wraith. I think they said like Rolls-Royce has never been in any other game before, so it's like the first one.
Yep. Well, both of them have never been in games before.
Oh, that is true.
Rolls-Royce, I think, was the brand that's never been in a game.
Yeah. And then they moved on to Forza Horizon 2, coming September 30th, and they said it would be the most social racing game ever, and they showed it.
This seemed like a real sort of punch at Drive Club, which, Drive Club has been just talking about, we're social, and Horizon has been about, at E3, I think it was just about 60 frame, 1080p, ground up for Xbox One, and then this one became, it's all about social. Even when you're single player, it's social, because we have drivatars, and you can challenge your offline friends, because they're drivatars. And at some point, it's just like, there are no rules. Play how you want it. And I was like, what? Surely there are rules.
See, it's weird, Trioptical, because I saw that and I was like, okay, I think the next step of Drivatars will be some sort of like creepy, soulless AI voice for every car, so you can like, even when they're not there, you can just talk to them and have a conversation with like your friends and be like, hey, how's your day? Oh, Tekken, today was great. I ate pancakes for breakfast or something. Just, mundane conversation like your friends. It's like, oh, they're not really there, but you won't be alone by yourself, being like playing a video game and all sad and stuff. You got your soulless Drivatar friends, even though they're non-existent.
Can we at least get celebrity voices for them?
Snoop Dogg. That would be even more hilarious. Trioptical. It's like, I'm racing around with all my celebrity friends. That would be hilarious and terrible. Oh, I hang out with all these rappers and movie stars and music artists and sports or athletes in my free time, driving around luxury cars I don't actually own physically, but in the virtual world, yeah.
They're all mine.
And then the next game shown was Ori and the Blind Forest, which won the show for me, because I was like, well, I really like this game, I'll never be able to play it, but then, like I said earlier, only on Xbox and PC, coming this holiday, and I was like, PC? I've got one of those, I can play it, yay! And I was just like happy, and I tweeted about it, and like, yep, so Ori and the Blind Forest is on the list now. Thanks, Microsoft. And yeah, it looks pretty good. Platformy, fun. But then it gets dark all of a sudden after the happy time, just like in the trailer. It's like, yay, I just escaped this giant tidal of water. Oh, giant owl monster! Oh, that's yeah. A quick turn from light to dark there. Sunset Overdrive coming October 28th, and they announced, or officially announced, the white Sunset Overdrive bundle. Oh, we forgot to talk about the bundles. Well, whatever. We'll do that after this part. But so there's a Sunset Overdrive bundle, which is the game, extra add-on stuff, and it's a white Xbox One, and it's $400, which is the without Kinect price. So yeah, you want to get a game with your Xbox One? There you go. Oh, they also talked about how they're basically just turning the head on third-person cover games and blowing it up. 'Cause you can, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. I was kind of excited after I saw the trailer. But yeah, they showed the scientist. It got more into the story, so it showed the scientist dude, and basically he works for this corporation that makes these energy drinks that turn people into monsters. And then it turns out they're the other faction in the game because you have the mutants that people have turned into that you're destroying as you save the city and you're the hero. But then you also have the corporation that's trying to cover it up and like going about it and like just having these AI bots patrol the city and just destroy everything and everyone that's not going with what they want it to be, and like, oh, we must, whatchamacallit, tie up loose ends or just, take you out. So that was pretty cool. And then it showed in the gameplay when like all the different weapons, someone had like a, it's funny because it looked like a lightsaber, but I was like, oh, it's probably just some, laser katana or some other word that's not lightsaber, and to get around, I was like, haha, Insomniac, I see what you did there. So yeah.
I don't know if this was true with the other bundles, but they explicitly said that Sunset Overdrive is a digital copy of the game.
Oh yeah.
Is that the case for Call of Duty and FIFA?
I do not know, but yeah, I don't know. I think the other two are physical, but we'll see. Okay. But yeah, the other two bundles were the FIFA, which is exclusive for Europe, which is FIFA and the Xbox. I don't know the price because it's not in America, so they don't have the dollars. And I don't know euros, so yeah.
More than the number.
Yep. And then the Call of Duty one, which is a terabyte. I was like, oh, curses. Yeah, it's like funny because I kind of started to think, early adopter, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get bits when Sony announces something really cool. And it's like, oh, but I already bought one. So then I was like, oh, maybe buy another one. No, Tekken, no. But yeah, 1 terabyte Call of Duty Advanced War, Advanced something. I keep wanting to say Advanced Wars. It's not that game though, so it's, yeah, that'd be super weird. That's in the game. And it's $500, so you're gonna have to pay an extra $100 for that extra 500 gigabytes, even though it's probably gonna be less than a terabyte after 4 months. But hey, whatever, right?
It's funny that there's gonna be 2 white consoles Like, again, like 2 black consoles competed last Christmas. 2 white consoles will compete this Christmas.
Yeah, the Call of Duty one's like a weird emblem thingy on it. It's its own thing. You have to look at it. And then we got to it was a weird timing because it's like this is the thing that they ended on, and it was all about Halo at the end and the Master Chief Collection, and but then it went on about like there's even more than the Halo Master Chief Collection and Halo Nightfall, which you already knew, and which is now included. Did they say that before that was included in the Master Chief Collection?
Yeah, they did, but they didn't say. Or actually, they did say what it was. Nightfall.
So I thought before, like, because I thought when they said that now is because they were cutting that division of, like, whatever, entertainment or whatever. But I guess they already announced it, so never mind. But then they announced the Halo channel, which was like, what? That was, like, a complete, like, out of left field to me, because, like, I thought they were just totally done pushing that TV thing. Some things never die, some things never change, and this is
that
one
part
of them.
is sort of confusing because it's also for PC, and then one of the features they said for it was that you could launch the Master Chief Collection from the Halo channel.
Huh.
So how's that going to work on PC? Or is that just not a feature on PC? But yeah, it's essentially Waypoint, but more.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like it's a channel, but it's not a. It's like a it's just like something that you go do on your Xbox One with like a bunch of Halo programming, essentially. And then they like announced the Twitch partnership, but they didn't give any specifics or details. It's like, yep, we got this exclusive Twitch partnership, but whatever, we can. And they just talked about like what you can do on Twitch. You can stream your game. Well, you can already do that. So, what exactly are you getting out of this? Speedruns and everything, but I can already do that. So, yeah. And I was just, and they showed Halo, one of them being played. When I was watching it, I was looking at my Twitter feed and watching it at the same time, so I didn't exactly have 100% of my attention. But, it's like, it looks, here's how it used to look. Oh, wow, I almost said 20 years ago. Jesus, that makes me feel old. 10 years ago. And then it's like, oh, here's how it looks today with our modern graphics. And I was like, it doesn't look that great. But the draw distance and the stuff going on in the background, textures are not, okay, textures are good. I mean, they're not super high res, but what can you expect if you're just whatever. Anyway, have anything to say about Halo fan resident of Aimless Podcast Tropical?
Well, I guess I'm glad that Halo channel is on Windows. It'd be nice if the collection was on Windows, but I sort of doubt it. Yeah, it is. It's not super exciting, but it'll be something neat in the distant future.
Also interesting that they didn't have a bundle for this, because I would imagine this would be like the one that you would want to bundle it to get all the Halo fans to buy an Xbox. Because it most likely would not have had it already from other games that you've been featuring.
The Halo fan that has no Halo games?
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, but there's like, the modern HD-ified version. Remaster. I
wonder if they're going to sell it in parts. You know how like all the God of War collections and stuff on PlayStation have, you can buy them individually. Like,
if they did that, they couldn't tout the value at $50 for all 4 Halo games.
They couldn't tout the 100 maps on one disc.
Yeah. They repeated that like line from E3. It's like, oh, all these, whatever.
It's funny. It's like they're touting Blu-ray 8 years after we've had Blu-ray games.
And then they ended. Okay, that wasn't the end. Like, okay, it was the end, but it wasn't like the last announcement. And then like the final thing they said was like, it was weird because it was something. It was like a new policy essentially where they like, oh, PlayStation does that, let's do that. And then but then it's also weird because like PS3 has been doing this since like however long. So it's like they just got a feature that PS3 has been doing for But basically pre-order and pre-download on select downloads, and they showed FIFA and I think Forza Horizon 2 were the 2 games.
Yep. That
you can start that policy or feature will start with.
Yeah, and more coming in the months ahead or something.
Yep. And then they had like a splash, or not a splash page, but like they do that thing like Nintendo does, like, oh, here's all our publisher partners, and then like later on that that ain't happening. But they showed all these games that are coming out, and like most of them were third party, and they're like, look at this amazing library of games you have this holiday season, blah blah blah. And I was like, that game was on PS4, dude. Sorry. So, But they did the same thing at the beginning though. They started off with like 9 games, and like I wasn't really sold, and still wasn't really sold. So and yeah, but nice try, Microsoft. Not too bad. Not. I guess it wasn't bad. There's no Kinect showcase. That's all that matters. To just get me already down in the AM after I've just woken up. So not bad.
Yeah, I'm thinking Quantum Break looked really cool, so visually I'm attracted to that game. Sunset Overdrive just seems fun, so that one that was the only game that I thought, maybe this might be a cool system to have. It's still way off in the future. Like, they haven't brought up my timetable in the way that Nintendo did with their E3 showing, where it was like, I'm never buying a Wii U, and then it was like, oh, now I have a Wii U. Xbox One did not do that this time. I mean, the Tomb Raider thing was that is pretty big, but I think it's going to be blunted by the fact that there are more people who own PlayStations now, and so the noise of timed exclusive is going to drown out the exclusive part. So if you're an Xbox fan already, or if you don't know any other people who play games, then you're going to be like, oh, I want Tomb Raider, I'm going to buy an Xbox One. And then the rest of us are just going to be like, Tomb Raider until it comes out, and then it'll just be like, yay, now we have the complete edition and it runs better, haha.
Actually, article I was thinking about that. I was like, maybe this is where they got the money to put out the Sleeping Dogs and Tomb Raider, or not Tomb Raider, like the Sleeping Dogs remaster, because like nobody saw that coming, and they're just like, oh well, we got this extra money lying around from the Tomb Raider deal. I guess whatever.
That seems like a crazy thing to do, but who knows?
It's like we don't have any development teams on anything on the Japanese side, so let's just reuse some assets from the European studios. All right, go team.
I think United Front is actually in Canada. But yeah. So the thing I was talking about with Tomb Raider earlier, and what was the thing I told you to remember? The other one, Scream.
Forza. Oh, Scream. Oh yeah, the Scream.
The Scream thing. Well, I can't even remember the name. Ride? Scream Time?
Scream Ride.
Scream Ride, okay. To me, it felt like this was still, it's like a continuation of Microsoft not knowing what to do, really. When they first announced the Xbox One, they had this vision. Turns out it was totally wrong, and no one bought into it, which was expected. But then, so they switched over to this. I keep feeling that they're directionless now. They don't know exactly what to do. All they want to do is win, and so, and they're just like, we don't have a direction right now. So let's just try everything that works, or just listen to what people want. And so they're sort of defaulting to the things, like, they're not pushing anything anymore. They're sort of, it feels like a very timid Microsoft now, where there's just like, okay, what do we do? New properties, like, yeah, we can't risk it. We don't know if people are going to like those at all. So we're going to go out and we're going to buy a AAA franchise. So they got Tomb Raider. And then, so yeah, like, if you look at their strongest moves are the moves that are the most obvious. It's like, buy a AAA franchise. And then when you look at what they're trying to push, like, something that they came out of their own minds, like, we're going to push this ahead, it's something like Scream Ride, which, again, is sort of, it feels like, who really wants this? Like, who looked at that at Gamescom and said, wow, that was a smart move by Microsoft? Nobody, probably. It's just like, oh, it's another thing coming out on Xbox One. And so, yeah, if you think about Xbox One, the direction they're moving right now is a very safe direction. They're not pushing any envelopes. It's just buy Tomb Raider, release Halo, release Forza, release Fable. There's nothing new there, really. Sunset Overdrive, okay, that's one thing, but at this point, I think they're pretty confident in that one. It's gotten pretty good reactions from everyone, but everything else, it's just like it's the things that you would think of if you were saying, I want to win the console war. How am I going to do it? I'm going to buy AAA franchises. I'm going to release my own AAA franchises. People want indie games these days, so let's find them indie games. And so when you look at Ori and the Blind Forest, it is very clearly an indie game in that it's like, looks really good, it's charming, but it's also sad. Below is sort of like, it looks like that too. It's like, yeah, it's, indie games have this sort of ethereal feel, and they're just like, they're more emotional, and it's like, oh, look, the big guy is, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it's like, oh, what's up? And I was like, it's very typical indie game. It's not something like Blacklight Retribution, which is an indie game, but they didn't go out and say, hey, we have Blacklight Retribution, like PlayStation did, because that's not what people think of when they think of indie games.
I was going to say, are you done? Sorry.
Oh, yeah, it's just like, I feel like this is clearly showing, like, continuing the theme that Microsoft, because they lost their direction with Xbox One, like, no one liked their direction, they don't have a new direction right now. They're just trying to win, but it's not based on a vision, it's just based on, how do you win a console war?
Yeah, because it's weird, because, like, Phil Harrison said something about, we're working with our European partners or whatever. So I thought there's going to be, like, more stuff shown as far as, like, either second-party stuff, which we've mentioned in the past of, like, they've gone out to have a studio work for them and, like, make a game for them. I can't remember if this was, like, the part before they showed Scream Ride or whatever. I don't remember what part of the conference it was.
This was right before Scream Ride. They said, we're working with lots of European partners. One of them is Frontier, and they're making this brand new exclusive Xbox IP. And then it was Scream Ride.
So yeah, it's like, it made me remember, like, back at the unveil of, like, PS4 and Xbox One, like, you have Sony of, like, all these first-party studios, like, working on stuff that, like, after the last gen and, like, the end of PS4, it's like, in the PS3 and, like, their momentum into PS4, like, I believe in, like, the stuff that they make on the first-party side, and, like, yeah, Microsoft were, not so much, and then, like, the Screamer was just a continuation of that,
yeah.
What? I just saw it, and I was just like, huh?
It's like, check out our exclusive, and it's just something that's like, I don't understand this. As someone who they're probably trying to get onto their console, it just makes no sense to me.
So I was like, yeah, still waiting on those awesome first party games from so many studios that are working on them that they've they talked about back in the day. So yeah, still looking at that.
Yep, it was okay. I think it's sort of like the E3 where if you're already on Xbox, you saw stuff that made you happy. Ori and the Blind Forest, you just wanted to see more of that, and it's like, now you got to see more of it. Yay! Tomb Raider is coming only to my console. Yay! I don't know, was there anything like Sunset Overdrive? We got to see more. Yay! Forza Horizon 2. Yay! All the stuff that we knew about, we got to see more of. Call of Duty. Well, actually, the core fans don't really care about that one anymore.
Actually, it is like an interesting point. I'm not sure if it's because it was in Europe, so like the games don't have a release dates. But there's a lot of stuff shown where it's like coming holiday 2014. Didn't give like exact dates, so it's like hopefully no more games miss their window from this year to next year. But we'll see.
Next year is gonna be
it's so stacked. It's not even funny. It's like Division and insert game here. Like that's all I need. Division and I already have Destiny, so it's like on top of Destiny, I just go into Division next year and just Mortal Kombat X next year, or 1886 next year, Batman next year. Everything's delayed to next year, evolved next year. Tomb Raider on Xbox next year. Next year's gonna be so awesome.
It's gonna be crazy. Well, it's been really cool. Gamescom is the biggest one. I don't think not even in Germany. I think it's like the biggest one in Europe. And because it's pretty close as far as, we don't really know how close the competition is between the two consoles, but it seems really close. Microsoft.
I wouldn't say it's close. I would just say that it is hot. Like,
yeah,
Microsoft is
really
like pulling no stops, trying to catch up to Sony, and Sony's like, ah, ha, 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 in your face, just like laughing at them in their review mirror, like, yeah, you ain't gonna catch us.
It's sort of insane. Like, if Microsoft loses Xbox, they will have lost all of their consumer brands, except maybe Surface. If Surface becomes a thing, then maybe they'll try less hard on Xbox. But yeah, right now it's like a lot depends on Xbox, and that's why they're fighting so hard. And I guess they have the cash as opposed to Sony. So yeah, every single conference up until I don't know at what point. Well, actually, with Tomb Raider being so late, we know that at least until holiday 2015, it's going to be a really good show. So 2016, if the Tomb Raider thing doesn't pay off, maybe it sort of cools off a bit. But yeah, until like even next year's E3, Gamescom, Tokyo Game Show, those are still going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's funny. I read a comment on the Polygon article. Someone was like, "Well, I bet January 1st, 2016, they'll come out on PS4 or something." It was like exclusive in 2015, but not 2016. Oh.
It's funny because that they probably could do that. just by knowing. I mean, partnership business wise probably couldn't, but just like knowing the how much easier it is to put onto these platforms now. Unless it's highly optimized for Xbox One, it will actually. Though they might be like Ubisoft and they'll be sitting on the PS4 version. I was like, yeah, okay, is the deal up yet? Can we sell it to people now?
I was thinking that too. It's like maybe they're just gonna like polish it up, like keep on polishing and polishing, and be like, or have them like Game of the Year edition with all the added stuff from the Xbox One edition or something.
That is probably how it's gonna go. But like that's the downside of being exclusive on one platform. Once you get on the other platform, you have to offer concessions, and like
sorry guys, take us back.
Yeah, it's like Garden Warfare is doing that, where it's like, yeah, it was exclusive for a year. But you get everything that they got over the course of the year, and
that's a good thing to point out, Cole. Like we've already had time exclusive this console generation.
Yeah, we're like all the EA stuff, and so.
Oh man! Right. Speaking of EA, whatever. Let's say that for the podcast. That's not related to Gamescom thing.
Now we're just bashing because lots of things could happen. It could come out on PS4. Tomb Raider could come out on PS4 later and just be running superiorly. But this time it won't be like, oh, it's just harder to do on Xbox. They can just say, oh yeah, because we spent more time on it. Because we had a lot more time. You guys got it a year later.
There's okay. I think there's like two things I wanted to mention, or just before I stop, is that it was weird because like at the beginning the guy was talking in German, and I thought, and it was in subtitles like at the bottom, and I was like, crap, this is gonna be in German the whole way through. But then they switched to English. I was like, yes, thank you. I was so scared for a moment, and then as the Wii U owner after since you were like last week's podcast, but like we talked about like the whole like HD remasters or whatever, but like those aren't coming to Wii U. So, but like the whole Sleeping Dogs thing also not coming to Wii U. Does it like and like the whole Tomb Raider thing? They didn't even like mention Wii U. So does that just show how out of the discussion Nintendo is?
Not necessarily. So actually, I've heard this from people is that the Wii U is actually not as powerful as the 360 in some ways. And so that is probably why they're not getting the remasters, because the point of the remasters is to be, remastered. And I don't, like, Wii U didn't even get the original version of Sleeping Dogs, did it?
Not yet.
No?
I'm sorry. I thought you meant Watch Dogs, but no, I didn't.
Yeah, so doesn't make too much sense.
But then, like, I just thought it was weird, because, like, I haven't seen, like, anybody in the comment sections on anything be like, well, why wasn't Wii U getting all this? So I think it just must be, like, a Nintendo fanboy mentality. Like, they only care about first party, and third party, it's like, well, we'll take what we can get, but if we don't get it, whatever. And if we do, hopefully it's awesome, like the Bayonetta stuff, where it's like, oh, all this extra stuff.
It is kind of true, I suppose. Like, everyone will be looking at Bayonetta, I think. if Bayonetta does well, maybe there's hope for third parties on Wii U. Another thing, it's the risk-adverse publishers where they're looking at Wii U sales.
Good point.
Like, I don't think they picked up until after this last E3, and that's way too soon for publishers to have been like, oh my gosh, people are buying Wii U's now. We need to make Wii U games. Sure, they could have started in E3, but it's going to be like 2017 before they actually come out.
Yeah, and then like the software numbers are probably still not high enough to be like, it's totally worth it to port this over here.
Yeah.
Let's put some resources in. We can totally recoup the cost. And then it doesn't sell. Yeah. Which is why Ubisoft just sits on the games. They're like, oh, we got them done. We got tons of Wii U games. We're just not using them yet. Which is insane that they would even say that, but whatever.
That's so strange. They've always been the supporter of these weird systems, like Rayman, the Rabbids games. Like those were all born on Wii. So Wii U, it seemed like they would do that too, and I guess they did. But then they decided it's not worth it to spend marketing and printing and all that. We'll just make the games. It'll sit on this computer until there are lots of Wii U's out there, and then we'll just be like, hey, we can finally jump on. Maybe those come out this holiday, actually. If Nintendo, if more people reacted the way that I did to Nintendo's E3, by this holiday, it could be like, hey, we sold a lot of Wii U's, and Ubisoft is like, all right, we can strike while the iron is hot because we already did it. We just didn't release them.
It's not like they have to worry. It's not like they have to worry about getting squashed by Destiny or Call of Duty, because I don't think Call of Duty got announced before Wii U did it.
I don't think it was announced. So
that was weird too. I was like, wait, did they say Wii U version? Because I was like, wow, just Wii U's getting no support here across the board on major mega publishers. It's crazy.
Yeah. I guess we'll see. So today we have Sony later. Are you going to home?
Yes, I will. Do you think the mystery game is Bloodborne? I think that's what it is.
The one they've been teasing with the 3 short videos?
Yeah, or did they say it was like something new that we haven't seen yet? If it's something new, I have no idea. I'm just like, my guess is Bloodborne, or my hunch is Bloodborne, but it's like, if it's something new, I have no idea what it is, and I can't wait to see what it is.
Most people are saying it's Until Dawn, which was the move-based horror game.
Oh, is that the horror game that's like co-op? Oh, dude, I hope it's that too, because I want to play the game. Is that on PS3, right?
It was PS3, but...
Oh, man. Well, I guess I have PS4 now, so it doesn't matter anyway, so
yeah,
I can still play
been in development for so long, so it could be on PS4 now. The other thing is they trademarked A Million Ways to Die, and so maybe people are thinking Until Dawn got reworked into something else, and it's going to be called that.
I hope not.
That title, I think it's been taken.
I know there's a 1,000 Ways to Die TV show, but...
There was a Million Ways to Die in the West, which I think was done by Sony Pictures. So...
let's see. When is that at their conference?
It's at noon in our time zone.
2 hours. I can play Mass Effect.
How is that going, actually, by the way?
I'm close. I'm close to Trioptical. I did finish the gold waves, like, yesterday, and then I need, like, 20 more promotions or something. And I think I can do that if I just crack out all day. But then it's like, the conferences are today. It's just like, I can't use my time.
Wait.
Just, like, keep taking breaks.
Promotions is the thing where they reach
level
their
20,
next level,
yeah,
and then you do
reset
that.
them.
Oh my gosh. That's a lot.
I only need 20 more.
Are you still playing gold then?
No, I stopped playing gold.
Oh, okay.
Because now it's all about XP and not gold. That was draining. Man. Now it's back to being fun silver. Yay, fun.
Well, good luck. How many days do you have left?
I think I have 3 days left.
Oh my god.
So yeah, down to the wire.
This week is going to be pretty crazy. All Mass Effect, all the time.
Yep. Alright, well that... go ahead.
Well, okay, so I was going to mention that Hohokum, I pre-ordered it, and on PS4, like, they have the countdowns that tell you when it's available.
Yeah, I love that.
It will be available at the time that the Gamescom press conference starts, which I think is different than, what was the first one? Rogue Legacy. I think Rogue Legacy was midnight.
Yeah, that's when Oddworld was when I got that one.
Yeah, so I'm wondering... we're gonna see that one a bunch, and they just want to be able to do the thing. It's available now. No, it wasn't released
Oh man,
before this.
that'd be awesome if they did another one of those of like, here's a new game we haven't announced yet, and it's available now. That would be awesome.
Be pretty cool, actually. It was really neat. It would be really neat if they continue that theme from E3, where it's like, you guys, we know you like listening about new games, but you also like playing them, and so here you go, beta. Right now, demo.
Oh no,
this is out.
I was even thinking of like a beta for a game. Oh my gosh, that would be awesome. I could actually play it then because I have a PS4 now. And last time I was like, oh, I'm not the Destiny beta, but then I got in. Or also I was like, yeah, I got in. So there's hope for me now that I have one. I can be one of the people.
I can always, keep the dream alive about the PlayStation Now demos.
Oh,
direct from conferences. And PlayStation
Now too excited
now.
Early morning.
These things are impossible. No, not impossible, improbable. But it would be really cool. So, come on, impress me, Sony.
Oh, man. Great. I'm going to be like watching the whole thing, waiting for some like awesome announcement.
What do I get to play now?
Like, what's coming out? What's coming out during this conference? I can play with or something. All right, so that is our Gamescom Xbox conference 2014 wrap up. Got reactions. Trioptical and Master. I have no idea where RPG is at. He's probably at work or sleep. It's like he's in like Pacific West Coast times. I have no idea. So
the conference was really early for him.
Probably not. And I'm betting he's not a morning person either. So and Microsoft, throw that in there, and that's just a firestorm waiting to happen. So I guess we'll get his reactions on the podcast this week. But until later in the Get Reactions or until you see or hear us from again this week on the podcast, thanks for listening. And we're now signing off.